Hello, my name is Dr. Shalom, and I will be taking you on the topic building beliefs. This is our first class in Gila, and I'm super excited to have you here. All right, this topic is really important. I trust you have your writing materials, you have a book, and you have a pen. If you don't have one, stop and go get one. Get a pen, get a notebook specifically for your Gila lessons. Or if you have an iPad, fine, but have something you're writing with because you always refer back to them. Now, what are the objectives in this class? 1, at the end of the class, you should get to know truth. 2, you should be determined to replace wrong beliefs with truth. And 3, you should decide to come out of the W box. We'll get to know what the W box is as we go on. So the W box is not something you want to stay in, something you should decide to come out from. Okay. Now, the first question is beliefs. What are beliefs? Because we're talking about building beliefs. That means beliefs can be built. They can be built. They don't just fall from the sky into your mind. They are things that you picked up growing up, right? Because when you're born empty. You don't know anything. As a matter of fact, when you were a baby, you didn't even know you existed. They told you your name, they taught you your name, they kept calling you that name until it sunk in your mind. This is my name. They told you the day you were born, they told you the day your birthday, they told you this, they taught you how to walk, they taught you how to think, they taught you how to talk, they taught you how to greet, everything you were taught. So you didn't come with initial beliefs, right? You didn't come with initial information. You came empty. Everything that you have right now, everything that you know right now, you were taught either from culture, from school, or from home, or from society, or from friends, or from the books you read, TV you watched, I don't know, anything, wherever you got information from. Those things form your belief. Now, the question is, the thing is, if you have the wrong beliefs, your life heads in the wrong direction, because your life will go in the direction of what you believe. Right? Now, question is, what are beliefs? Beliefs are mental constructions established in the mind. Mental constructions, things that you have built up in your mind, based upon information that you have received. So based upon the information you have received, you have a certain way that you think. So everybody here has a belief system. There is something you believe in that makes you talk the way you talk, that makes you think the way you think, that makes you do the things that you do. For example, if you go to club, it's because of what you believe, right? If you go to school, it's because of what you believe. So you believe that you're writing JAMB or you're trying to get an exam into a higher institution is because you believe that education is important. Not just primary school education or secondary school education, but there is an information you have received somewhere that's telling you that if you don't go to university, you may never make it. Right? And that's why you're trying so hard to enter into university, study a particular course. There is something is driving you to study a particular course. You have heard somewhere that if it's not medicine, you may not have money. If it's not nursing, you may not be relevant in the society. You have to have a professional course, to be able to stand in the society. So you've gotten that information from somewhere, and that information has formed a belief system in your mind that's driving your actions. So if it is not nursing, it is nothing. If it's not medicine, it is nothing. If it's not this person, it is nothing. If it's not that person, if it's not this place, it is nothing. For some of us that are Christians and grew up in core Christian homes, we believe that we must be in church on Sunday, whether we know why or not. We just grew up with information, with the idea that you're supposed to be in church on Sunday. Why? Because you are a Christian. And so that has formed a belief system. That belief system drives us to church on Sunday. So every Sunday, whether we feel like it or not, something wakes us up and pushes us to church. That is a belief system. So these are mental constructions you have established, you have built. So it doesn't just happen. It is an intentional effort, on your part. So something, all right, let's see. It says these mental constructions determine how you see. Sorry, just before that, it originates from an idea and governs your existence. So what you believe came from an idea, came from an information. Maybe it came through school, or it came through your parents, or it came through your friends, or it came from the books you read, or the movies you watched, or the media, wherever it came from. Maybe the church you go to, or the religious house or place, whatever it is. You just heard something, and it gave you an idea, and that formed a belief. So this is where your beliefs comes from an idea, an information. And then these mental constructions determine how you see. So your belief system determines how you see and how you respond and how your life goes. So if you have the wrong belief, your life will head in the wrong direction. If you have the wrong belief system, you will see wrongly. If you have the wrong belief system, you will always think wrongly. You will always respond wrongly. And you will have the wrong things happening to you, the wrong circumstances around you. That's what you'll be having. Your whole life, your entire existence will be wrong. Why? Because you have the wrong belief system. So that's why this topic is important. We want you to be able to build the right beliefs. And there's a material given to us, the right material to build our belief system, the right material. So you may have received information from somewhere, but right now you can measure that information with truth and know exactly this information I have, is it truth? If it's not truth, I have to dump it and pick up this right material to create the right mental construction, to establish the right mental constructions in my mind, so that my life can go in the right direction. If you believe the wrong things, your life is wrong, and then you are what you think you are. Now there's a popular scripture I like to quote for you, but that will be very soon, right after we know where beliefs come from. So you might be saying, there's a way, this is it. Whoever you are right now, the choices that you've made right now, since you were born till now, the places you go, or the places you have gone, the places you will go, all is all a result of your belief system, all a result of what you believe, the choices you will make, the decisions you will make. Why do you go into a shopping mall and you choose this over that? It's a belief system. Why don't we endorse LGBTQ? It's a belief system. Why don't you endorse crime? It's a belief system. We have an information that this is wrong, and so we believe that it is wrong because of what we've been taught. We believe that this is right because of the information we have received about it. So it depends on where you have been taught. It depends on where you have grown up, the information you have received, where you received the information, who gave you the information. So all these things form the idea in your mind. And so this idea forms a belief system that guides your decisions, guides your actions. I mean, if you grew up believing that it is okay for a man to marry a man, that's how you will live. That's how you will function. If you grew up believing that it's okay for a woman to sleep with another woman, that's how you will function, because of that is the information you received, and that's what you believed growing up. But now that you are an adult, now that you are of age, you have reached the age of accountability, and you've even passed it. It is now your responsibility to find out truth. And that's why we are bringing this information to you. Everything we are giving you here is all based on the principles of truth. You might be asking, what is truth? I'm coming there. Now, where do beliefs come from? They come from the information that you receive. This information could come from somebody, what you heard, what you read, what you saw, the experiences you've had, or the experiences of other people. So this is what you've heard over and over again, and you think is true, you think is real. There are several things that we think. For example, the vaccine. Let's use vaccine as an example. Most people believe that vaccine is good because of what they've heard over time, and they never really stop to ask questions, deep questions. But because this is what we've heard, for example, I'm a medical doctor, right? And this is what I was taught over. And as a matter of fact, it's the question we ask our patients, especially mothers, when they come with their children who are sick. We ask them, did your children go through all the vaccination processes? They will say, yes. And we say, okay, fine, that you've done well. This is the information we were raised with in school. This is what we heard, that it is important to do vaccine. If you don't do vaccine, your child is going to die. If you don't do this, this is going to happen. So we grew up with the belief that this is how it should be. Hey, is our belief. So it drives us. If you have a child now, you take your child to go do vaccine. We encourage the mothers to take their children for the vaccine. Until right now, we are coming up and we are hearing that the vaccine is wrong. So what we are trying to do is to adjust our minds to truth again. So you might have grown up with the wrong information. That's why we are bringing this information to you, so you can adjust your mind. So beliefs come from the information, what you've heard, what you've read, what you've seen, and what you probably have experienced. And then it also comes from the society, culture, what happens around you. There's a way Italian people behave that's different from the way Nigerians behave. There's a way the Americans think that's different from the way Nigerians think. And it's all based upon what they believe. The Americans are freer. There are some things that they can do that a Nigerian will never think of doing. Why? Because of the information they receive there. They think it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to just go anywhere. It's okay to do anything. I just want to be myself. But a Nigerian does not think like that because of the information he or she has received in his country, or in his home, or in his village, right? So beliefs also come from your family background. There are some families that you must be accountable. If you go out, you can't come back below later than 7 p.m. You must tell somebody where you're going to. My family is like that. You have to tell us where you're going to, so that we know where you are. If anything happens, we know where to go to, But there's some families where nobody cares. You can go, you can come back anytime. That's a belief system. They think that they are free to do stuff. That's how they grew up. So when you see them, they act differently, they think differently, they talk differently, they respond differently. While you're careful about things, while you're careful about giving, accounts, to being accountable to somebody, they are not, because they did not grow up in that kind of environment. You also get beliefs from your educational background, what you were taught in school. Are you aware that some people that still believe that we came from apes because of the theory of evolution? Well, that's crazy. Just like I told you about the vaccine, that's what I was taught in school, right? So you get information from all these places and they form your beliefs. So we are surrounded with information, ideas, thoughts, experiences, and as we grow and give attention to them, they influence and form mental structures in our minds. So that's where beliefs come from. So why is belief so important? 1, it determines how you think. 2, it determines how you live. Now I want to read the scripture to you. Our references are from the scriptures. Why do we get our references from the scriptures? You'll find out shortly. Now I want to read Proverbs 23 verse 7 to you. So if you have a Bible, one of your materials in this class is that you must have a Bible, whether you have an on-site Bible or you have an online Bible, whichever one, but you must have a Bible. It's really important. All right, so we'll just read Proverbs 23 verse 7, sorry. The King James, let's see what the King James says. It says, Proverbs 23 verse 7, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's talking about a man. So as he thinketh in his heart. So you are who you think you are. This is not a God thing now for you. Even though God has a plan for you, his plan will never materialize in your life if you don't think it, if it has not come to your mind. So who you are right now, it is you who produced it by your thinking. So you are who you think you are. You have what you think you have. The circumstances that come to you is based on your belief. So remember we said beliefs come from information you have received, and now this forms how you think and the decisions you make, the responses you give, and automatically how your life goes. So belief is important because it determines how you think. So for somebody who believes in LGBTQ, for example, the person thinks differently. Is while you're thinking of how you should look good, how you should be a lady, the person is thinking of how she's going to be the man in the relationship. She thinks differently. So based on what she has believed, and this her belief came from the ideas that were fed her while she was growing up, the information that she received while she was growing up, and now she's bound by those information. She's bound by that belief system. So it's automatically going to decide how her life will go. If she's going, even down to whether she's going to heaven or she's going to hell. That's how important your belief is. So, two, it determines how you live. So, like I said, if you believe in the wrong things, you're living wrongly. Your life is already wrong. So imagine living 70 years and then you realize that all my 70 years was a wrong life. Everything I ever built in my 70 years, in my mind, the mental structures in my mind, the life I built for myself, I built with all wrong materials. Just imagine. How would you feel? 3, it determines your captivity or your freedom. So your belief determines whether you're going to be bound, you're going to be in bondage, you're going to be in captivity, or you're going to be in freedom. Now, as a matter of fact, if your beliefs are not in line with truth, you're automatically limited. You're captive. You're a captive. You're already in bondage, because the only thing that sets you free is truth. And that's why your belief must line up with truth. If not, you'll never be free. Now, 4, the foundation of your public leadership begins with your private belief system. The foundation of your public leadership begins with your private belief system. Now, we are raising you as leaders, and it's important because how you lead determines what you believe in. We'll come to that later. And then 5, it determines the circumstances of your life. So what you believe in also determines the kind of problems you have, the kind of situations you have, the kind of opportunities you have. So if you're thinking small, you only have small opportunities. If you believe that nothing good can ever come to me, you will never have any good opportunity coming to you. If you believe that you're not worth you're not worth so much, that is how your life will be. You will always live in disadvantage, and it just keeps going worse and worse and worse, because it's a negative cascade, right? So your belief system, it is of utmost importance. If you're going to be a leader to impact your world, you must ensure that your belief system is the right one, so that you can dish out truth, you can dish out reality, you can dish out the right things to other people. So what should you believe in? What should your belief system be like? Like I said, we have materials. Words, information, these are the materials that are used to build a belief system, right? So how did you build the belief system you have now? It's based on the information you received. So if you want to build a belief system, all you need is information. Maybe information from the books you're reading, or the whatever it is you're watching, or what somebody else told you. But all you need is information, words. These words and information will give you ideas that form your belief system. So now the question is, what should form? Now we are talking about building beliefs. How should you build the right beliefs? What is the right thing to believe in? How do I know that my belief system is right? How do I know? What should I believe in? Now, the answer is, all you need to do is to believe in truth. Truth should be the material you are using to build your belief system. If your belief system is not true, your life is not true. If your belief system is not true, is not in line with truth, you are not free. You are in bondage. Bondage of deception, bondage of uncertainty, bondage of fear, bondage of darkness. That's where you are. So this is why it is important that your belief system, the ideas you have, the information you have, the information you are getting, it must be from truth. The information you are getting must be truth. Right? So not just information from anywhere else. If you're getting information from anywhere else and it's not in line with truth, then it's automatically wrong, and that's going to give you wrong mental structures. You're building a wrong building. You're building you have a building with wrong materials. And remember, imagine if you're a landlord and then you have a land, you want to build a house, and you commission an engineer to go ahead and start building the house, and all the material he uses are wrong materials. The material he uses to build the house is a wrong material. Of course, you know that the house will not stand. If it's fake sand, fake cement, everything is fake, everything is wrong. That's not what you want. And of course, it will not stand. That's not the building. It won't stand. right? So that's why that's the same thing with your life. If your mental structures, remember that your life will go in the direction of your belief system. So if your mental structures are built with wrong materials, your life will not stand. It will not stand the test of time. You'll not be able to live out the kind of life that God wants you to live out. You will never be. Right? So that's why it's important that you should align your belief system with truth. And this is it. Now the question is, what is truth? How do I know truth materials to build my belief system? How do I know, where do I get these truth materials from? What is this truth? How do I know that my belief system is in line with truth? Where do I get truth from? How do I see truth to know that what I believe is in line with truth? And while you're listening to the class, it may look like, this is a Bible class, but we're not ashamed of it, because truth is reality, and reality is a person. There is nothing else that defines truth apart from the Bible, apart from the scriptures. When we say truth is reality, it means that it is what is real. In chemistry, you hear ideal and you hear real. Ideal is what you're seeing with your physical eyes. Real is what the real thing is supposed to be like. We may not see it, but we know what the real thing is in chemistry. But then what we are seeing right now is just ideal. That means we can see with our physical eyes. But guess what? Truth is reality. Truth is what is real. And truth is a person, and that person is Jesus Christ. This is the only person that had the boldness to say, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No other man in this world ever said that. No other person in this world ever said that. No other person. This is the only person in this world that has ever existed to say, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. He did not say a way. He did not say a truth. He did not say a life. He didn't give you room for options. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That means Jesus Christ is the truth. If you want to know the truth, you look at Jesus Christ. The truth about anything: life, finances, family, relationship, medicine, government, nations, other people. Look at Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ is God, and he's revealed to us in the scriptures. Now, the Bible shows us who God is. The Bible shows us who Jesus Christ is. The scriptures, the Bible is the word of God, is Jesus Christ written out. So as you look into the Bible and look into the scriptures, you are looking at Jesus Christ. That means you are looking at truth. Right? That's what it is. And that's how your life should be. You should align your life to truth. So that means you should align your life to the scriptures. So if it's not in line with what God has said in the Bible, and then it is not true. As simple as that. If your life, your beliefs, the information you are receiving, if it's not in line with what the Bible has said, we have found out where truth is. Truth is in the scriptures. So when you want to measure your information with truth, the ideas you have with truth, the beliefs you have right now with truth, measure it and ask yourself, is it in line? So we're going to do that with time. Is it in line with what truth has said? This way I believe about myself, is that what truth said about me? Because the scriptures will show you the truth about you, the truth about your purpose, the truth about your calling, the truth about where you should be, who you should be, how you should relate. Everything about life. Everything about life. Everything. Quote me anywhere. Everything about life is in the scriptures, in the Bible. Not anywhere else, in the Bible. Why? Because the Bible reveals Jesus Christ to us, and Jesus Christ is truth. And that is the truth. You will not learn it in your school. They will not teach you this in your school. They will not teach you this at home. They will not teach you this in your culture. Well, in the society, they will not teach you. No school will teach it to you because they don't even know what truth is. Right? So, Romans 12 verse 2 talk about this very soon. So, if your beliefs are not based on truth, you will believe in a lie. That means if your life is not based on what God has said, if your life is not based on the scriptures, if your life is not in line with the Bible, I know this is supposed to be a leadership class, but we said it's a leadership class in truth. What we want to do is to equip you with the principles of truth. So as you stand, you know that you're believing in the right thing, not in something that was told you from one textbook or something that was told you from somebody else's experience. You have asked the right questions and you're getting the right answers. So your life is in shape with the right materials, and therefore your life can stand. So what you're doing right now is building the right mental structures with the right materials. So you need to understand what truth is. And we said truth is Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ is revealed to us because you can't see him now. He's in heaven. So the only way you can know him and see him is in the Bible, in the scriptures. So as you read the Bible and read the word of God, you get to know who he is. And as you know who he is, you know truth because he is truth. So if the information you are receiving from the books you're reading, the movies you're watching, the people that are telling you stuff, your society, if they are not in line, they are not the same thing with what God has said in the word, with what truth is saying, then those informations are false. They are a lie. And if you're living by them, if you use them to form a belief system for yourself, if you act on them and live with them and live by them, that means your life is also a lie, as that information is a lie. So it's important that your beliefs are built up with the right materials, and the right material to build your belief is truth. Because God gives us an information. He tells us stuff. This is how to think, this is how to relate, and that's what truth is basically about. Our responsibility is to find out this truth, think according to truth, and live by them. So that's your responsibility. Now I'd like to talk about the concept of freedom very quickly. See how many minutes we have. Freedom is the result of the working of truth. So if you know truth, you're going to be free. There is no other place freedom comes from apart from truth, and it's in the scriptures. Again, I said this is where our reference in this class is the scriptures, or books that are in line with the scriptures, because we know truth and we've come to dish out truth. We've come to build you up in truth, and the truth, that means our talking, our teaching must be in line and reference from truth. So John 8 verse 32 says, you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. Once you know the truth will make you free. So there is no other place freedom comes from apart from truth. And truth is reality. Truth is what is real. So if your life is not in line with truth, then that means you are not free. You are in bondage. That's what it means. Now, freedom is first mental before it's physical. So if you're not free first in your mind, you'll never be free physically. And then you are as free as you know. The more truth you know, the more freer you become. And that's why God always seeks to affect your mind, because that's where freedom starts from. You will never be able to live free. You'll never be able to live that great life that you're supposed to live according to divine plan until you are free in your mind. And what gives you that mental freedom is truth. That's what gives you that mental freedom, right? So now we'll stop here for now, and then we'll get to the other side of this class in our next class. But I want you to pay close attention to a lot of things. Your assignment is actually to meditate on Romans 12 verse 2. That's your assignment. Look at it in different translations. That if you don't have different translations, browse Google or download the Bible app with different translations. You will get an answer. Okay, so when we meet in class, we'll talk more about the concept of freedom, and then why it's important to live free. As a leader is a free person. A leader is a free man, somebody who has embraced truth. You can never be free if you don't know truth, right? You can never be free if you don't know, and not just know. Now, knowledge in itself is truth. If it is not true, then it's not knowledge. So you cannot have something, you cannot have wrong knowledge. You can only have right knowledge. You can only have you can only have right knowledge. So it is only knowledge when it is right. That's what I mean. If it is not truth, it's not knowledge. It is a wrong information. It is only knowledge when it is truth. So freedom comes from the truth that you know, right? And so that's why it's so important. And I want you to pay close attention, because this is where we'll really talk about when we meet in class. We relate it to different things, and keep your questions, watch this video over and over again, and I trust you're reading the book. And then like I said, your assignment before our class is to meditate on Romans 12 verse 2. Read it in different translations. Watch this video over and over again, and when we meet in class, I will take your questions and we'll discuss in details very practical examples of how people's belief system have limited them, and then how they became free. I'm a practical example, and I can tell you my story. All right, have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you in the class. Thank you.